Welcome back, week three. Why did we miss week two? I don't know. We just couldn't get around to recording, so that's just it is what it is. We just didn't do it. We had a plan to record on like Friday, and then we were just like
No, we missed Thursday.
we
We
did
we
we didn't even like plan anything. So I don't know. Week two was pretty good. I can't remember. Were there like some upsets at all? I feel like week two was like it felt like it was 3 weeks ago. I don't
yeah,
even
it's
I
been
don't even
it's been a
can't
long
remember.
week, but
It's been a long week.
uh I was like looking at all the stuff yesterday too when I was prepping for today. So,
Yeah.
um yeah, games last week were kind of I would say most of them were sort of as predicted, but then there's like, the Falcons beat the Eagles,
Yeah, that was a
um
big one.
and then Bengals Chiefs. I mean that kind of one was predicted as well. Chiefs got bailed out at
Right,
the
right.
end. Cardinals
Yeah.
Cardinals just dunked on the Rams.
Yes, they did.
Um,
That was crazy.
that was a good one. Jets Titans. Last week's Jets game went,
Yeah.
as expected. Browns Jags. Um, mm,
Yeah.
Saints just dunked on the Cowboys. That
Yeah,
was
that was
that was
that was
good. That
crazy,
was
dude.
good.
And Tom Brady even like actually stepped up his game in the announcing too. Like he got so much hate in the first week and then actually like did pretty good in the second week. So I'm not really sure why he got so much hate, but
I don't know.
I don't know, it's his first time ever doing it. He's a player, not an announcer, you know?
Yeah. Maybe slight upset Ravens Raiders. That went into overtime, but
Raiders coming out with that win was kind of surprising.
yeah, that was good. Okay, and then
Anyways,
we recap for Thursday's game, Jets Patriots. That was, I mean, for this season, that one is expected. But like, if you would have told
yeah,
us a couple years ago that like the Patriots lost at the Jets, we'd have been like,
true.
huh?
Yeah, at
But
MetLife too.
yeah, well, it was good to watch. Aaron Rodgers and their offense finally like really click together. Like they were
Oh
moving
yeah,
the ball really
absolutely.
well.
They were
And
going
then
crazy, man. It was awesome.
Patriots only put up three, which was whatever. They're not going too far
Ramondre
this season,
Stevenson
but
played like
their whole offense was limited to like under what 150 yards. It was ridiculous.
yeah. Oh, it was so bad.
What did I have on my
Um,
next Thursday night recap?
yeah, I don't
Anything
know. I
else?
mean, I don't know. It was a good game. I only watched a little bit of it. I really didn't watch a ton.
I
Um, Three
uh
touchdowns. Brees Hall scored one at the last one, field goal to end the game. They went 24-3.
yeah, yeah,
So
it was
decent game, not bad.
Lazard had the first one, and then
Yeah, sounds right.
Hall got the second one, and then the Patriots scored a field goal, and then
Hmm.
at the end of the second quarter, Jets missed a field goal, and then they had another touchdown somewhere later in the game,
Yeah.
and that one went
Yep.
to hmm, who'd that one go to? Who'd the next one go to? Wilson, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds right. And then it
okay,
was I think Garrett Wilson got the second touchdown and then Brees Hall got the third. Yeah, sounds right.
okay. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Game's already over.
Yeah.
Jets win,
Yep.
24-3.
Yeah, it's a good game. On to the 1 o'clocks for tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, getting
We got the
into it.
Jets at the Browns. So we're in Cleveland. My buddy's actually going to that
That
game here at Fredonia. He's going down to Cleveland for it. So it should be honestly, I think it's going to be a close one. I personally, and I texted you about it earlier today, that I think the Jets are going to win
Giants.
this game. Or Giants, sorry. Yeah, Giants are going to win this game.
I very much disagree with you.
Okay, that's fair because like the Browns defense is so good, but like
Yeah,
I feel like the Giants have to click at some point. I mean, they don't, but like I feel like they will.
they they kind of did last week against the Commanders, but that's because the
Yeah,
Commanders' secondary is not great, so their passing was big. What did Neighbors had
true.
130, two touchdowns.
Yeah, yeah,
And then their run game was still kind of mediocre, but
yeah. I mean, they have
against this,
Singletary. This
y-
not.
Yeah,
You
and then
know,
against this Browns defense, like they're better in the backfield. They're better at the D line. Like,
right?
I think the Giants are going to struggle in this game, but
Yeah,
I feel like you're right. They're definitely on like a cold streak. It's going to snap at some point. So,
yeah, for sure. And the Browns, I mean, the Browns are a good team. It's just the offense, man. Like
hmm
that offense is what that's why I think the Giants are actually good, like have a chance to win this game because like
oh, you think
if the
okay,
Browns can
that
stop
that makes
the Browns,
sense.
yeah, no, the Browns can stop them on defense for sure, but the Giants like they don't really have to do much to stop the Browns defense or offense because they're just really not good. And so that's personally why I think that the Giants are going to win this solely based on like they could get some defensive points or they could get some big turnovers that like change the course of the game, like field position wise.
I see.
Um,
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Is their
but
kicker
yeah,
still out?
yeah,
Their kicker's
yeah, I
still
think
out.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't paid attention to any of
So
that, but once I found out that
yeah,
they missed three 2-point conversions, I was like, what?
yeah, dude, so
Anyways,
bad.
it's like,
So yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants on this game. I don't know. You're taking the Browns,
I'm
I
taking the
guess, right?
Browns. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll take the Giants on this one. I think they're gonna win. I think it'll be really close if they do though. Like really,
Okay.
really close.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll whatever. Eagles at Saints. This one I like this. Yeah, I'm moving on from that. I want to talk about the Giants beating the Browns. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Eagles at the Saints. I think this will definitely be a good game to watch. It's the NFC powerhouse from last season versus the NFC powerhouse from this season. Um, I mean, talk about the Saints game last week. Like that was incredible against the
Yeah,
Cowboys. Um,
yeah, that was nuts.
I think Saints have it at home. They're likely going to keep slinging the ball. They're going to be throwing, home crowd, keep everybody entertained. They're gonna be throwing the ball deep, and against the Eagles
Yeah,
secondary, which is like not necessarily the best.
no,
Um,
not really.
but and then on the Eagles side of things, I think their defense is gonna be in a tough spot on both sides of the Saints offense because they can run it as we've seen with
Yeah,
Kamara, and Derek
right.
Carr can throw it. So um,
Yes, he can. He can sling the ball
he's
around.
he's airing it out for sure.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then we saw last week with the Eagles, they kind of fell apart against primetime Perk Thuggins. So if they crumbled on that last drive, they weren't looking great before that, but you can't fall apart like that right at the end. So
Right, right.
if
Yeah, no,
they,
that was a really good game. Both games last week, honestly, the Eagles
mm,
and the Saints when they both played last week, that was really good. Saints destroyed the Cowboys. That was awesome. Eagles fell short. I didn't watch a ton of that game, but that just didn't seem right to me, man. It's like I don't understand how the Eagles were like fended off by the Falcons. It
yeah,
was crazy.
they kind of like they were moving the ball enough, like to get down the field, and then kind of just like falling apart towards the end. And
Yeah,
then their defense was just letting everything go through for the most part. Like when
yeah,
it mattered, they were letting everything pass.
yep, yep.
But
So it should be a good one. I honestly have the Saints in this one.
I think I'm
Not even
taking
gonna
the
lie, they're
Saints
playing
too.
so good right now that they're just the momentum's just gonna keep going, continue forward.
Yep, I agree.
All right,
Yeah. Texans Vikings.
Texans Vikings. This one is actually projected to be really close. I think it's like a 1.5 point spread
I
in
haven't looked at
favor of the
any of that yet,
Texans.
so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think it's 1.5 point spread in favor of the Texans. So
Okay.
it should be a really close game. In Minnesota, I don't. The Vikings already played at home, right? It's not their home opener.
They hosted the 49ers, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, yeah. The Texans closed a small victory over the Bears last weekend. Um, I mean, we're not surprised the Bears lost. They're not looking too well. We'll get into that team in a little bit, but the Vikings put the hurt on the 49ers. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brock Purdy just looked absolutely terrible. Nobody could get open. They wasted money re-signing Ayuk. So at least for now, it's not a waste, complete waste yet. But man, they just
Yeah,
dumped a whole lot of money
doesn't
into
look
somebody who
great.
can't even hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
So it's I mean it's going to be like defensively led to a point.
Mm.
I would not expect either team to gain a large lead at any point. I think it's going to be like pretty, and that's why the spread is so close. I feel like it's going
Yeah.
to be a pretty even game. I don't know. Did Diggs have anything last week? Because he had 2 touchdowns in week 1, but I don't think he really did much last week. I could be
He
wrong though.
had a couple catches, I think.
Okay.
I don't think he had
Yeah. But
much.
like, but I mean, the
He
Texans wide receiver core is so unreal. You would think that they'd just be blowing out all these teams. And the past 2 games, like they've been close games.
mm,
Like week 1 when they beat the Colts, I mean, it was a pretty close game.
mm.
So,
Diggs was
um,
4 for 37, no touchdowns.
yeah, okay, so not too much.
Yeah,
Um, good for PPR receptions, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I think this will be a close one for sure. Probably go Texans on this one. I love their offense so much. CJ
yeah. I
Stroud's
think
the
yeah.
man.
Mm. Well,
It'll be a really good game to watch though. That is for sure.
is Nico Collins still questionable?
I don't know. It's a
Because
good question.
he had like 135 yards last week,
Yeah.
so he'll be
Yeah.
a pretty big factor if he's.
Yeah, there's some big injuries that we'll get into in a little bit. Um, Around the league, like just absolutely insane. It's kind of messing up everybody's fantasy teams and messing up a lot of like powerhouse
That's
teams.
for sure. He's marked healthy now.
Okay,
Uh,
so
hip slash
big wide
foot,
receiver core.
but does not have a designation for Sunday. So he'll be playing. He'll be fine.
Okay.
I take it back.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
I'll take the Texans.
yeah, yeah, I will too. I was gonna say something about it, but if he's gonna play, he's gonna play. So
Yeah.
he'll be good.
Broncos at the Bucks.
Yeah,
I think we all know how this game's gonna go.
yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? Like Bo Nix, he's just
Off to a
he
rough
looks
start.
like he's under pressure every single time he's in the pocket. Like he'll be in the pocket looking for like a pass, and he'll just have like a D lineman in his face in point 0.5 seconds. I mean,
Mm,
it's absolutely horrendous to watch, and I I don't even know how they scored points against the Seahawks defense.
in week one.
I don't know in week 1. Who they play last week? They play the Steelers.
Steelers, they put up 6.
That was such a boring game.
It was so
That was such a
bad.
boring game,
It
dude.
was
Oh, that was
so
so
bad.
bad. But yeah, dude. If you want to touch on Baker,
Oh yeah.
he's looking unreal, man.
Yeah, big time quarterback making big time plays. Yeah, I in the notes I put Baker MVP season loading question mark question mark question mark.
Dude, the way
Um,
he's been playing,
yeah.
oh man.
Passing has looked great. He's doing a great job with Evans and who's the other guy? Godwin. I mean, those two are
Yeah.
keeping their options open downfield. One of them is always there, and it's great.
Yep.
Um, I think going into this game, like their offense can put things together. Their defense is doing well. I think the only concern with this game is just like playing it easy because the other team is bad.
Right.
And I made note of this going into some other games, but like that's a really bad mindset. Like you got to keep your foot on the gas, play hard on offense, keep going on defense. Just because they're bad, you can't don't let up just because you think you're gonna crush them right out the gate. Um,
Right. Right.
it's like what did I say earlier? Something about cold snap. I was like, they're I don't know on a downhill streak. At some point, I said talking about the
Oh, the
Giants.
Giants, yeah.
At some point, they're gonna make a turnaround, and they're gonna
Right.
might be one game,
Hope so.
might not
True.
be
Yeah,
might not
it'll
be.
happen at some
It'll
point.
happen at some point, so they have to keep an eye out for that. I know it's only week 3, but Broncos are struggling, so
Yeah.
something might
Yeah.
click. You never know, so you just gotta be aware of that.
Yeah, it's true. Dude, honestly,
That's where I
this like
stand
the
on
first
that.
2 weeks of this season, like I'll sum this up really quick, but the first 2 weeks of this season have like surprised me like crazy. Like there's these
Mm.
quarterbacks that are playing out of their mind that like you would not think would be playing insane. Like Baker's always been a pretty good quarterback. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say he's like elite, but dude, this season, like he is like he's playing elite. He's playing out of his mind. Same with Derek Carr,
Yes.
man.
Yeah. Both
Going
of
to the
them.
Saints and just playing out of his mind. Rashid Shaheed his number one target. Like
Hmm.
all these quarterbacks just popping up, playing out of their minds, and Baker Mayfield's one of them. I think the Bucks take this game by a lot of points.
Yeah, I
If they
agree.
play this game, like you said, like playing it easy, like if they play this game as if it was a wild card or a divisional round matchup, then it's an easy win. You're putting up a lot of points. You're stat
Hmm.
padding.
Yeah.
Like it's a stat pad worthy game.
If
So
they take
I think the
advantage of
Bucks take
this,
this
yeah.
one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, go Bucks on that one. Next
Yes.
one. Um,
Packers
both of
at
these
Titans.
teams, yeah, both of these teams are kind of
The opposite of what
in
we were
a
just talking about.
yes, both of these teams are kind of in a down
Yeah.
spiral, only because the Packers don't think Jordan Love's going to be back for this week. He is questionable, but I don't think he's going to be back. They just pulled somebody from the practice squad. I forget what QB it was today. Um,
I
but
haven't looked.
so if the Packers don't have Jordan Love, that's definitely an issue. The Titans, they have Will Levis, but they're struggling. Like they really are. Um, I will say, going back to week one when he threw that interception against the Bears, and he's just sitting there on his knees. He's like this. He's like looking up at the
Wait, well,
sky. Like,
pause.
oh,
I'm gonna put that picture up for
dude,
both of us. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But dude, he was an absolute shambles, man. Like, oh, dude, it's so bad. And I honestly, dude, I really like Will Levis. I do, and I think he could be a really good player. It's just I don't think he has the weapons that he needs to have around him, and he makes really bad decisions.
There,
Like, let's be
yes, yeah,
like
really
that
bad
game
decision
last
maker.
week. That game last week. Remember that play where he jumped and tripped over and like threw it before he hit the ground
Yep,
backwards?
yeah,
And it was a fumble, and the other team, I forget who they played, but the other team recovered it. Like,
yeah.
dude, what are you doing?
That was
Like, you could have
so
at least
dumb.
made it a field
As
goal.
yeah,
Like, you're trying so hard and you lost out on points. I didn't understand that play, and that made me frustrated. I'm not even a Titans fan, dude.
I the
Like, if
the
Josh Allen made that play, I'd be screaming at the
I'd be
TV,
so
dude.
pissed. The
So
picture,
mad.
the picture is like crystal clear. He's like
Yeah,
he's hovering like 6 inches above the ground, and the ball is like just out of his hand. Like, what
yeah.
are you
Oh, dude,
doing?
so bad.
Oh
So I don't
man,
know. That's this game's going to be close because these two teams are
are
just not going
bad.
to play very
Yeah,
well.
it's either gonna be what was the
I
game?
wouldn't say bad. The Packers are not a bad
No,
team.
no,
It's
no,
just
no. I would
Jordan
say
Love's out.
they're in bad circumstances.
Yeah, it's a bad
Yeah,
situation. Like they're they have their injuries. Both teams do, but Jordan Love being out, that really sucks. I
yeah,
think the Packers still win this game
I think so too.
regarding that because the Titans are the Titans and they're
Yeah,
playing like the Titans. So yeah,
uh,
I think the Packers take this one.
yeah. Next up, we have the Bears at the Colts. Um, Previously mentioned, Bears was pretty close with the Texans last Sunday night game. Um,
Yeah,
we'll see if Caleb Williams can make a turnaround. They uh, Sunday. They got a week spaced out. See if they can put things together. Coming up against the Colts. And then the Colts offense last week, they kind of struggled against the Packers. It doesn't help that there were 3 interceptions, and
yeah,
when they were in a third down situation, they only converted 2 of them. So their offense is not doing a great job at maintaining possession of the ball. But
yep,
if they can make a turnaround with that, like if their quarterback can actually get the ball to their guys, if they can convert on those third downs, they'll have higher chances of seeing the end zone. And unfortunately, they did not do very well. I think they only had like 19 minutes of possession in the game last week because they kept turning
yeah.
three
That's so
turnovers.
rough,
So
so rough, dude.
hopefully they can hold on to the ball a bit more. Against the Bears, they might be a tougher defense to go up against, but like if they can keep the ball, their offense is good enough to keep going through. So
Yeah, and I think if Anthony Richardson can make that one throw he made in the game against the Texans in Week 1, if he can just keep doing that, like Dude, that's
Yeah.
probably easily still the most insane throw of the entire season so far. Like that
Um,
is like absolutely absurd how good that was.
Off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank on it, but it will be on the screen maybe if I can find it,
Yeah,
if I
it will
remember.
be on the screen. It was the deep shot. It was like a 60-yard pass, and he was like off his back foot, launched it in the air, and it was a dot right into the player's arm. I mean, it was absolutely insane. I'll send you the clip after
All
this so
right,
you can
then I'll
throw it up on
definitely
the
have
screen.
it.
It
Then I'll
was yeah,
definitely
it
have
was so crazy, dude. So crazy. But I don't know. I'd take the Colts in this game. I do not believe in the Bears no matter what weapons they have. I
it.
don't know,
Well,
man. I don't know about Caleb Williams. I don't.
they won week 1 against
Yeah, yeah, they did
who'd they play again
against the
week 1?
Titans.
Yeah. Well, there's a surprise.
So yeah,
Um,
yeah, right. Yeah, I think the Colts bounced back after they lost last week, right? Yeah, Colts lost last week.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they bounced back from last week and they played a pretty good game. I think Colts win by at least 3 points.
Hmm, yeah, that's fair.
So
Close, but
uh,
just enough.
yeah, yeah,
One more of the 1 o'clocks. Chargers Steelers is the next one. Chargers
okay.
at Steelers. Um, are we at all surprised by Steelers sneaking away with a low scoring win?
Nope,
No.
not at all, not
Um,
at all.
it doesn't make any sense to me. How do they keep doing it? Like
Dude, I don't know.
they have a new offensive coordinator. They have 2 new quarterbacks. They
Yep.
have the same running back, the same wide receiver. Like they have all these offensive weapons and they're doing nothing.
Yeah, literally,
So,
literally. And
um,
that's got to be a coordinator issue, dude. There's no way that all those players, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Najee Harris. Even though
yeah,
I personally I'm a Najee Harris hater. I do not like Najee Harris. He's screwed me over in fantasy one too many times, and he is just not a good running back like they say he is. But Jalen Warren though deserves that starting spot. He is definitely a pretty decent running back. So. I don't know. I think it all comes down to, you know, whose defense can perform better, man. It's just if the Chargers defense can step it up a little bit, they have a good chance of winning the game if they can get past the Steelers defense, which is
yeah.
that's a struggle. They're a good defense. TJ Watt is a menace, dude.
He's been making some moves for sure.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, I think that I haven't been really paying attention to the Chargers as much, but I know that, new head coach, pretty much the same team. Um, like they're making things work. I don't have anything bad
Yeah.
to say about them. Like they're
No,
doing what
no,
they
no
need to
way.
do. So,
I like the Chargers, man. I like Justin Herbert. I like
yeah,
Harbaugh as the head coach. That's a
yeah,
really good fit for him, I feel like. And him being back in the league coaching is so good to see. But I don't know, dude. I like the Chargers. I have a lot of faith in the Chargers winning
yeah,
this game. I think
yeah.
I'm gonna
I
go
think
with the
so too.
Chargers on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Chargers
So
over
that
the st-
takes us
4
into the
o'clocks.
4 o'clocks. Dolphins at the Seahawks. Man, the Dolphins, dude. Like
Well, that's a tough spot to
you
be.
know, uh, we hate we not hate. We don't like the Dolphins. We don't like the Dolphins. I don't like the Dolphins fans, but I really do feel bad for them because of how much is just falling apart. I mean,
Yeah,
the Tua, like the whole Tua situation is so terrible. That mixed with Tyreek Hill not getting like any catches last week. I mean,
yeah.
he was what, 4 receptions, 30 something yards, 3 receptions, 30 something yards.
I don't
I don't
even
know.
know. He got pulled like really quick after,
Yeah, he was not playing very
pretty much
well. The whole team was
their
just
whole
not playing
starting
very
line just
well.
got pulled as soon as Tua got out. So
Yeah, it was just a disaster. Not even gonna lie.
yeah, so
Um,
we've figured out the secret recipe on defense. Just lock up their
yeah,
receivers, and they really can't move the ball very well. I mean,
right.
obviously A
Well,
Chain
now
still
that
does really well, but
yeah, it's A Chan versus the world, dude.
yeah,
He
that's
is
what
so
happens when
good.
you lock up the receivers. You can't put the whole
Yeah,
team on one guy's back. So.
yeah, literally. If Jalen Ramsey can, make some plays on defense,
And if their defense steps it up a bit. I mean, we've seen that they have the defensive power. We saw how they played last season. they have all these things that can click on offense, but they've got to be able to do other things when their star receivers are out. We can't play.
Yeah, yeah. So this is pretty interesting that the Seahawks beat the Patriots in OT.
That was week 1, right?
That was last week. Patriots beat the Bengals week 1.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So Seahawks won, I think it was 23-20 off a field goal in overtime. But then you look at, what just happened this past Thursday that the Jets blew out the Patriots at home.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that the Jets are better than the Seahawks? I don't know. We we really can't tell this early in the season. I mean, it's only week 3, but if the Seahawks are only beating this Patriots team by 3 points, granted they did beat the Bengals week 1, but Joe Burrow is one of the worst QBs I've ever seen in my life. He'll turn it around. I know he
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
It's just him playing at the beginning of the season is always terrible. I don't know what it is. He doesn't get in the groove till like week 4, week 5,
Yeah.
and it's bad. It's bad for that team. But
And I know last season
man, dude,
he
if the
finished the season with an injury. Somewhere towards the end of it, he got injured, right? Wrist, ankle,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
it was like mid-season, I think.
but even without the injury, like previous seasons, he's done that too. Like he's slow start.
Yeah, literally. But then he turns it around. Like
Yeah.
then he just becomes an elite quarterback. Like in the last 3 quarters of the season, it's kind
Mm.
of unreal to watch. Like it's weird. I don't know. This is going to be a weird game just because the Dolphins don't have their starting QB. The Seahawks defense is really good. I like Geno a lot,
I do too.
and I don't think
Yeah.
the Seahawks really have that many injuries. I think
No.
Kenneth Walker might be coming back this week.
Yeah, I think
I haven't really
he's the
seen
only
anything
name
about
that
that, but he
was.
was he was out last week, but even the backup, Zach Charbonnet, is that how you pronounce it? I don't even know. But the backup, he played well. I mean, I had him on fantasy. He got me, 15, 16 fantasy points. So he played well. Got a touchdown. So regardless of if Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet is in, Charbonnet, whatever, I think the running back core is still going to play pretty well. But it's just a matter of can Geno stop throwing picks or like making bad decisions, and can that defense lock up, which I think they can. So
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks take this win, and it's in
Um.
Seattle too. So the Dolphins do have to travel pretty far,
Yeah.
different time zone. That definitely has a factor in every
Oh
game for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Walker
So
is listed as doubtful, still recovering from the oblique.
yeah,
And then
okay, that makes sense.
who'd you say the other guy was?
Zach Charbonnet. If I'm mispronouncing it, just cancel me or something.
We'll
I don't.
figure it out. I don't know Charbonnet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I take the Seahawks winning this game at home in Seattle against the bad starting QB Dolphins. So
Yeah.
Dolphins go 1-2
Yes.
after this week. So moving on from that game, the Panthers at the Raiders, and my God, that is just gonna be
This is gonna be tough to
that's gonna be
watch.
a
This is gonna
game.
be a tough
It's
watch.
gonna be a game of all time. That's for sure. Um, although, remember last year when Andy Dalton came in for Bryce Young, he threw like 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, like
What
kind of balled out a little bit.
what game was that?
Um, I can't even remember what game it was. It was like halfway through the season or something.
That was Bryce Young got like
Um,
he got taken out with injury, right? That game? Is that what we're
I think so. I think it was like early in the game. So
Okay.
I Andy Dalton. Did you see the interview? We'll put it up on the screen. The interview with Andy Dalton, where he just had the biggest smile on his face when the interviewers were asking him like questions about the game coming up and how
Yeah.
excited he was to start. Like he was, dude. He was so happy. I'm so happy for that guy. Um, Solely because he helped the Bills get into
Yeah.
the playoffs way back when, and we donated to his fund and everything like that. But
We sent what did we
it
send
was
him?
super
Like
fun.
100 chicken or 100 buffalo wings or something like that.
No, we donated to his charity.
No, we did something else too. We obviously yes, all the
Oh
donations to
yeah,
charity,
yeah.
but we sent him
We
like
sent him something.
sent him some ridiculous amount of chicken wings, I think.
Yeah, just something weird. Just
Yeah.
something
That
so
was
weird.
funny.
So yeah. I don't know. I don't know. This game's going to be bad. It's going to be a dumpster fire. I think the Raiders win though.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Um,
close though. Panthers lose, Raiders win, close game.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously I think Andy Dalton's the better quarterback to
Yeah,
start there. I think their O line still has some issues. And then on the Raiders side of the thing, what was I gonna say about them? They beat the Ravens in overtime. Like their offense can do what it takes. And especially looking at Panthers let up 73 points in the first 2 weeks, so not not great.
yeah,
Their
right.
defense is not good, just like their offense. But oh well.
Yep. 49ers at the Rams. Uh, I don't know. It's the 49ers aren't looking too great right now. I mean, Chris McCaffrey's out. After last week, losing last week to the Vikings,
Yeah,
they didn't play very well, but I think they're still a pretty good team. You can't count them out yet.
they have the offensive weapons. They just need to use them.
Yes.
Because even without
Yeah.
McCaffrey, Mason was good. Um,
Yeah.
and um, against the Vikings defense, they just kind of fell apart. Like I don't know if it was because Purdy wasn't seeing everything that was downfield, or if the play calling was
Right.
just bad, or whatever. But they just weren't clicking last week, which is it happens. Sometimes you have a fluke game. It is what it is.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. It always happens.
and then I mean I feel like going into this, like, this is a division rival. They are probably going to spice things up a bit. Um, I feel like we don't have much to worry about the 49ers. Like they can get things done.
Yeah.
Um, on the other side of things, looking at the Rams, like they just got pretty much blown out by the Cardinals, and I think a lot of that has to do with um, they don't have Cup or Puka.
Nakua.
They
Yeah.
um they're missing some offensive weapons. So that's not a great start. On the
Nope.
defensive side of things, like Cardinals scored 41. They can't be letting that happen.
Yeah. Nope.
Um, I think regardless of the sort of mismatch that was going on last week with the 49ers and the injuries that are out for the Rams, this division matchup is going to be I think that'll be enough to like kickstart both sides. I think
Yeah.
this will be a
Yeah, I
good
think
game
so.
regardless of whatever faults they're facing. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it'll
meant
be a
to
good game. I
check
think
real quick if Cup is still listed as doubtful because yesterday he was.
I think he might be. I haven't heard anything saying he's not, so I think he probably still is.
Okay. I'm gonna look that up real quick. You can.
I'm gonna take the Niners in this game. Um,
Oh, he's out. He's
I
straight up just out.
out. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners in this
Yeah.
game for sure.
Has an ankle injury. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but yeah, I think the Niners
Well,
take it.
yeah,
Um, I mean, we'll see what the Rams are able to do. Definitely gonna need their defense to step up a little bit. So we'll
100%,
see.
especially after last week.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the 49ers take it.
Um, yeah.
We're
The Lions at the Cardinals. Lions did win against the Rams. That was week one. Yep, week one.
yes,
Um, team looks good. I'm not
yeah,
even gonna lie. I like how the team's playing right now. It's you know, their offense has a lot of yards. They're getting good scoring opportunities.
yeah,
Defense isn't crazy, but it does the job for sure. So if
yeah,
they can get their offense and their defense like clicking at the same time, that's a pretty unstoppable team. They got a lot of weapons on there on both sides of the ball.
yeah. I agree.
As
I
the
think I think their
Cardinals,
defense is not looking as strong as it did last season. That's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but still
absolutely,
good for sure.
right, yeah.
So,
As for the Cardinals, though, they put things together with Marvin
oh yeah,
Harrison, dude. Like
oh yeah, that
balled
looked
out,
really
130
good.
yards, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Like
Yeah,
literally just only that. That was
yeah,
crazy. That was watching the Cardinals last week was watching a completely different team from week one.
Oh yeah.
Week one was, I mean,
They
they played good in the first half, but in the second half, the Cardinals fumbled the bag and the Bills came back and win.
yeah, they weren't using
Um,
their offense to their full potential. Clearly.
no, but they did this game
Yeah.
clearly, and they blew out the Rams, and it was yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Mm.
James Conner on the ground, Marvin Harrison through the air, even Kyler Murray throwing up some good passes.
Yep.
So I don't know. This is going to be a close one. I don't think the Cardinals play how they did last week. I like the Lions in this one. Um, I just really like the Lions team. I think they're just a
Mm.
really dangerous team in the NFC, and I think they could be borderline powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're kind of getting the ball rolling a little bit. Compared to last season,
Yep.
they did really well. Um,
Yeah.
I think they're still kind of getting the ball rolling a little bit, but they definitely will make
Yeah.
a turnaround at some point this season. So they're going to be a team to look out for sure.
Yep. 100%.
Uh,
Next one, Ravens at Cowboys. Ravens did lose in overtime to the Raiders. What was that 26-23? That was kind of crazy.
yeah,
Didn't really expect that.
yeah. I think
Uh,
I think did the Ravens get the ball first? Did they make a stop? Raiders make a stop
yeah.
because they kicked a
Yeah.
field goal to win. So
Yeah, the Raiders kicked the field goal to win. So yeah, dude, that was a crazy game.
mm,
Ravens didn't look as good as they did in week one, obviously. Losing that
wow,
game,
they didn't even really
keeping
look
it
too good in
super.
week one, but
It's true, but they stayed close with the
yeah,
Chiefs, but then staying close with the Raiders, like
yeah,
I feel like most
that
teams
doesn't
can stay close
speak
with the Raiders.
too much about their
Yeah,
team. Yeah. Mm,
yeah,
it's all right. I think in terms of like playing well, they looked flashy. Like they were throwing the ball, they
yeah,
were running the ball really well, they were aggressive at the start of the game. That's I guess where the good football is. The bad
yeah,
football is, their offensive line wasn't doing too hot. They
yeah,
um, had a couple of mismatches, bad plays, but
yeah,
so then that's how the Ravens are going. Like they're a good team, it's just
yeah.
kind of something's not quite there. That's all.
No,
And then on the other side of the thing, I mean, Cowboys. Oh boy. Against the Browns, they look good. I expected that game to be a matchup of two heavy hitting defenses, and then
yeah,
um, obviously the Cowboys ran away with that one because the Browns offense just crumbled. It was just not good.
yeah,
But then looking at last week, the Cowboys suck.
yeah. They sucked.
Cowboys suck.
That was bad. That was really,
Um,
really bad to watch.
is this going to be their year? Do we think is this the year for the?
Nope. It's never their year. Never.
uh,
It's an endless cycle. It's a picture. It's just, oh, start of the season. Oh, this is our year. Oh, we win a couple of games. Oh, we go to the playoffs. Oh, we lose the first round. Back to the start of the cycle. It's just over and over. It
yeah,
just never stops.
I think I think they're probably going to come out swinging. They're probably going to try and make themselves look good after last week, especially against a team that we
Yeah.
know has a pretty good defense.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes, but it's that's a hard loss that they suffered last week. So
Yeah, and I think they bounce back. I think I'll take the Cowboys in this game against
okay,
the Ravens. They'll bounce back.
yeah,
Dak Prescott will have a good game. CeeDee Lamb probably a touchdown.
yeah. I think
I
the
think I
Ravens. I
think the
think I think
Ravens
it'll
will.
be close, but I think the Cowboys walk away as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think so.
just a bit more
Um,
leaning towards the Cowboys for this.
yep. Uh, Out of the 8 o'clock, the Sunday night game,
Yep,
the
Chiefs
Chiefs at the
Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah,
So I guess from a standpoint, you could look at it this way: the Falcons beat a team that was in the Super Bowl on last this
two.
past Monday 2 years ago,
Yeah.
who played the Chiefs, who were also in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They kept it close against the Bengals, kept it really close against the Ravens. Like both games, just super close. So the Chiefs have a lot of close games. Kirk, if Big Kirko
Kirko
can play how he
Chains.
did in prime time, which he normally doesn't.
Yeah.
He is primetime Kirk through and through. I think the Falcons could probably keep it close, but if Kirko just doesn't play like he did in primetime, it's pretty much over.
Yeah. If he plays like prime time last week, you
Yeah,
know,
yep.
Atlanta Kirk, maybe a new story. We're looking
True.
for
This
some
is
big things
true.
out of that. Um, Obviously, we talked about the Falcons. Their offense looked really good. They made things work in the last quarter of the game with
Yep.
that game-winning drive. Hopefully, that momentum rolls over into this week against the Chiefs. Chiefs-Bengals matchup. That matchup is always really fun to watch. They always ball out both sides of the ball, but there were just some things that like really got let go by the refs or um,
Yeah, on both sides.
on both sides, but especially when it comes to the Chiefs offense, like they call it PI when it's not PI. They call um, like when it should be a false start, it's an offsides, or when
Right,
it's
right.
like a kind of just like dirty plays get called good things.
Yeah. Yep.
That's or
Right,
vice
right, right.
versa, which is
Yeah.
tough to watch because it's hard to be hard to be a fan of football and then watch a game like this where bias just completely takes over. So we'll see how it goes. 8 o'clock Sunday night, Chiefs at Falcons. Honestly, I think the Chiefs take it. It's a
Same.
it's a primetime game. Yes, they're on the road, but we know how they play. They show out
Yeah.
when they need to. So
Especially in prime time.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think I think the Chiefs take this one.
yep. Two
So we
Monday.
get a little treat this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, two
Ooh.
Monday games this weekend. I don't quite remember having two Monday games last season, but I'm sure we did.
I think it happens once a season.
Okay, it's
I
always
think
fun.
there's always one
It's always
week
fun. I'll take more
where
football.
yeah,
I
oh
like
it's
it.
so nice. Yeah, absolutely.
First game, Jags at Bills. This is gonna be a fun one. Home game Monday night. I think it's earlier. It's like
Earlier,
7. It's
7:30.
not. Yeah, 7:15,
Yeah.
7:30, whatever.
Yep.
Um, Jags really weren't putting points up last week. They struggle to make things work on offense. Granted, they were playing against the Browns defense, but to only
Mhm.
score 13 is uh, not anything good. Um,
Right.
they were on like a uh, they were on like a good streak at the beginning of last season. They had their bye week. They came back. They faced the 49ers. They lost. Then they just kind of tumbled and they blew the
Yeah.
division lead. So they're on like a cold streak even from last season. So
Yep.
this is the one that I was talking about, like referring to in the future. This is another one. Like Jags are on a cold streak. They're gonna snap at some point. Something's gonna click. They'll put
Yeah.
things together. Um, so as long as the Bills keep that in mind and we play full steam ahead, like we did last week when we clapped the Dolphins, James Cook had three
Yeah.
total touchdowns, um,
Yeah, that was crazy,
and
dude.
the
Oh my
defense had
God.
three interceptions, one of which was taken to the house for a pick six. Like I said earlier, Bucks Broncos. Watch out for the cold snap. So the Bills need to make sure they don't
Yep.
fall into the other team is bad trap. Other team is bad. If they keep their offense moving and their defense plays heavy like they did last week, they'll continue to win. So I,
Yeah.
I'm obviously Bills fans. We just talked about bias. I'm biased. I'm taking the Bills, but
Right. Yeah, 100%. But
there
like
there are definitely
there's the
things that they need to prevent. Prevent some problems on
yeah,
Monday. So
but there's also like historically the Bills normally lose to the Jags. And we've seen that happen
yeah,
in recent years. Like the past however many 3, 4 games we've played the Jags, we've lost them.
yeah,
Whether that be we it's a close game or we lose 9-6.
yeah,
Remember that game?
yeah,
Like that was brutal. So like the Jags always tend to keep it close with us. I think this is a different Jags team. I don't think it's as good as they were before, even though,
yeah,
they weren't amazing. They were just mediocre, but I don't think they're even that good. Bills should be able to pull it out. I
yeah,
think it's going to be closer than we think, though. A little too close for comfort.
yeah. Yep, 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 for sure. Not looking forward to that, but maybe we'll follow the same pattern that we outlined for last week. But
Yeah. Yeah.
hoping for good things. Go Bills.
Yep. Go
And then
Bills.
the later one, the one at 8 o'clock, right? I think it's 8. It's not any later than that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
8:15. Yep.
Commanders at Bengals. Um, looking at this, the matchup is probably not very even at all.
No, I don't think so.
Commanders, their secondary's not been great. Their defense lets up a lot of passing yards, as we saw last week
Yeah.
against the Giants. Um, yeah, uh, and then I mean, they put points up. They're making it to the red zone. They're able to kick a bunch of field goals, which we saw last week. But uh, they really didn't. They haven't done anything on offense. They've combined for 724, 25 total yards
Yep.
in the first 2 weeks, and they have 3 touchdowns in week one. They didn't get any touchdowns last week. It was all field goals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their offense is able to move down the field. They just can't finish. They're making it to the red zone
Yeah.
and then they're getting stopped. So I think if they can make it into the end zone, then they'll get the ball rolling. They'll be okay. Um,
Hmm.
but we haven't seen much of that as of the first 2 weeks. So
Yeah, no,
we'll
not
see.
really.
We'll see.
Not really.
We'll see. And then Bengals offense. You talked about that earlier. Always off to a slow start. Um,
Always so bad.
I don't like they're this is probably the game where they start their turnaround. I would say because it's
Probably.
it's
I mean,
like
last
a
week was pretty good, but
yeah.
I feel like this week is when they start like putting up the
I
points,
think I
especially
think
against the Commanders.
yeah. I think this is where it really starts to shine for them because they're facing a defense that's not the greatest.
Right.
So
A whole team
um
that's not the greatest.
yeah. What else did I want to touch on with this? Oh yeah. Their tight end had the most yardage. Uh,
Hmm.
which is great. Uh,
Yeah.
Gesicki looked great. Um, but you can't do that all the time. You can't rely on
Right. Yeah. You can't
one
rely on your tight end
guy.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Um, so that being said, they have the receivers. Like I don't know what's going on with them, but because of this defense that they're coming up against, like they should be able to put those receivers into something. They got to make
Yeah.
things work and they got to start quick.
Yeah. And I will add too, this doesn't really have anything to do with this game, but they just announced today that Jamar Chase got fined 31,000 for screaming at the ref
Oh
in the
yes,
Chiefs
yes,
game
yeah, I
because
saw
of the
that.
hip drop tackle,
Yeah, that
which
was
was a hip drop tackle.
that was yeah,
Um,
that was one of those other calls that I was like, what are they doing? Like
yeah.
they flagged him for talking to the ref unsportsmanlike, but they watched the hip drop. Like clearly got hit
Right.
in a not so comfortable landing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. It is what it is, man. I'm gonna take the Bengals. Easy.
Yeah, I think yeah, Bengals for sure.
So
Hopefully it's like a big game for them because they need it. They need it bad.
yeah. Yep. Big time. So
Mm.
yeah. That just about wraps up week 3.
That wraps up all the
Um,
games. You
I
wanna?
think I think next week we might try to add in like some like segment kind of things. Like talk about them at the beginning and then go through like, maybe we only cover a certain amount of games that are like important, or maybe we cover like anytime touchdown things, or maybe like stuff like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's pretty good. We got a pretty good slate of games this weekend. A lot of games Sunday, 2 games Monday night. Love that. Should be a good week. Entertaining.
yeah, I think so. Um,
So,
do you guys want the wheel back? Should we do the wheel? I think it'll be
oh, the
if we
wheel.
bring it back, it'll be a separate thing than like us
Yeah,
talking about going through everything. But do you guys want the wheel back? Cause I'll put that together. It'll just be like probably like a short. It'll just be like
yeah. It
quick
won't be
quick.
like we'll pick like 3 games
It'll
with the wheel
be
or something.
it'll be a quick video. It'll just be like, oh, wheel spins. This guy is gonna win. This guy is gonna
Yeah,
win. This guy is gonna win.
yeah. Just
Or
because
we could
I
turn it around, change it up a little bit, like the touchdowns. Like who's getting the touchdown?
true.
Who's
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can change some
We
things
could
up.
use the wheel for sure.
Yeah.
But just because like this is good, like talking about every game and stuff. But I feel like at some point,
Yeah.
it does get a little dragged on just because we do sometimes get a little off topic.
I
But
mean, whatever.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I love
Yeah.
talking about the games. I'll talk about this shit all day, and it keeps me engaged in like
Yeah.
the season
Yeah,
too.
it
So
keeps us in it. But the reason we're not doing it this season is because our videos are just so long and there's so much editing
yeah,
to
we
go
got
through it.
we gotta
Which
dude, we
like,
gotta figure out how to shorten these things. It's really bad.
yeah, because I think we're hitting what, like we're definitely over 40 for this just right
100%.
now.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, we'll cut some stuff out, but
yeah,
it's
we'll
it is
see.
what it is.
We'll
But
see where it goes.
anyways, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.
That's it
Appreciate
for
it.
week 3.
Like, drop a subscribe down below. Like the video. Comment what you want to see next. Yeah,
What he said.
down here. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.